a change in the style. And he's also see they've all got that kind of breast strap kind of
Yeah.
thing. It almost looks like padded fabric, but I bet there's probably a manuscript somewhere that tells you exactly what that's for.
Yes,
Here we
I'm
see
sure.
these ones with the square panels, and again they're cut almost identically with the plate and mail ones.
You know what I
I
need to
really
do? Bede, I think it's a long one, couple of hundreds of pages on horse classification, taming horses, training horses, and horse armor. I need to translate that. Do you remember? I always told you I want to
yeah,
do
you
that.
mentioned that a while ago. I think that would be a really valuable addition to the literature.
Yeah.
And it's something where once it's translated, you'll have 100 reenactors out there with their horses trying the stuff out to find out if they can do it. Which it'll, it's good for them and it's good for us.
That's right.
I do. I see. I like this when you know that they can accurately paint plate and mail. I am really getting tired. It's been a long day. Um, uh, when they do something like this, they're clearly indicating an entirely different type of armor. It's not a shortcut or anything.
Yes.
This is something else. As I say, could be plates inside fabric, could be plates joined by mail on all four sides inside fabric.
Yes.
Um, it could be quilted fabric. Who knows? See,
This is from another early Safavid as well, Shahnameh.
yeah,
And look at this one, please.
yeah. See, this is, on the backs of some of the plate and mail armors that they've got scales that have little scalloped edges.
Mhm.
This looks the same thing to me on the horse on the left.
Oh, the
Um,
guy's clearly wearing a male armor on the right
yeah,
side.
they both are.
Oh, both, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and the male armor pretty much follows the shape of the short sleeve caftans that people are wearing over their regular clothes, which
Yes.
makes that's one of the reasons I think that those enclose male. We've got yeah, so we've got vertical plates with scallops on the side linked by male in horizontal strips. We've got a really densely patterned fabric covering over some kind of armor.
Mhm.
It could be anything because that's so heavily embroidered. I mean, bear in mind, it's painted to look like it's so heavily embroidered. You wouldn't really know what's under that. But his bazuband are also gilded and decorated. So it's possible it's just meant to be um, plate and mail that's been heavily gilded. But I wouldn't guess that first off.
Yes.
But it's showing you just how over the top they could decorate these armors.
Yes.
Because when you see people go and visit the Shah, go and visit an important Amir, and he really likes them, he often gives them a horse with saddle and bridle, and it's gilded and it's
Mhm.
highly decorated. This was a thing. This was a quite a common, not really common, but common enough that a lot of historians have reported it happening to them. I think of Ibn Battuta and a few others just saying, "Oh yeah, and I visited the such and such, and he gave me a horse, fully equipped." Because you don't
And
have to go.
guys,
Oh,
off topic, this is how you open male armor. You pierce male armor.
yeah, yeah. This is people know. I mean, the artists knew how this worked.
It's important to know just how much information miniatures provide us with. It's
Oh yeah,
unbelievable.
because I mean, a
Unbelievable.
lot of people say, "Oh, it's just a pretty picture," but you got to remember when it was painted, for whom it was painted,
Yeah. Yeah.
and what the expectations were. Somebody of the period looking at that says, "Yeah, that's just how I killed such and such.
Yeah.
He
Exactly.
was stealing my cattle, and we caught him." The other thing is, notice that star pattern on his shalvar.
Yeah.
Now, you often see that on brigandine,
Yes.
but with rivet heads as well. This is just a pattern on the fabric, which makes me think when you see a brigandine with the rivet heads, and the star pattern. The star pattern is woven into the fabric,
Yes.
and the rivet heads are showing the real structure of the
Yes.
brigandine.
That's
I'm
right.
thinking particularly when you go back to the Jalirids
Yes.
in Western Iran and Iraq.
Yes. Another
See these,
Shahnameh. And here you see what we had in the beginning is
yeah,
fabric, right?
yeah. And I think for its purposes, it would be really quite effective. It's interesting that most of the people using their bows are on unarmored horses,
Yeah.
though all of the people have bows and bow cases. So if you were a heavy cavalry with your armored horse, you were trying to get in close because your horse is better protected.
Yeah.
Um, but if you were going to shoot people, you'd send people with fast horses that weren't carrying extra weight like armor.
It's important consideration. Yeah. And
Yeah.
look now again. You see,
Oh, yeah.
Ziga, just for you, you see this type is shown in different Persian books and manuals. Again.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's really interesting. So this is a different way of representing plate and mail.
Yeah.
I think it's influenced by the way they used to paint laminated armor like 120 years before. Because remember, a lot of these painters were part of workshops that went back
Yes. Yes. Yes.
through generations, and they probably had little outlines and things like that. And when
Mm.
they were going to do their thing, they say, "Oh well, we don't want that armor, but we can still use the pattern."
Yes.
Notice he has a mace under his thigh,
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
just in detail in Saracen archery. How to put your mace under your thigh and not have it move around when you're galloping,
Yes.
because that would look bad.
It's unbelievable.
Um,
Excuse me.
yeah, it's really interesting when you see this. This next one that
Next one is
we
also very
discovered.
interesting. Please take a look at that one.
You see a lot of Safavid miniatures of the time of Shah Tahmasp
Yes.
showing armor like this.
Yes.
And I don't know what it's meant to. I mean, it's clearly meant to represent high grade armor, and you wouldn't put it on your horse unless it actually did something. So, is it? It looks to me there's probably rectangular plates underneath it,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
because you wouldn't do
Mhm.
this if you just had mail underneath it. Why would you
Yes.
have the plates and that?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
I'm guessing it's either plate and mail inside a fabric wrapper,
Mhm.
or it's a kind of brigandine that we're not familiar with.
Yes.
Because the thing they didn't do in Europe, when they made brigandines, the plates just overlap and
Yes.
they were multiply riveted.
Yes.
But in the Middle East, where you had plate and mail, it
Yes.
would be logical to think, well, if we want to make the armor more flexible, we'll just put bands of mail between the different plates, and it's an easier way of fitting them together, and it probably weighs less than riveting them. Now, here we have really splendid armors,
Yeah.
and clearly the segments of the armor on the horses are divided up to show the actual segments of the armor, but it's so stylized it'd be very hard to say what was really there.
Yeah.
Just that when you were, high up, you got really good looking armor. I mean, there's details like there's like banded pieces on neck guards, but there's a neck guard on a horse on the back on the right, which has a big medallion on the side of the neck guard. I'm not using the European terms for these because I don't know whether they're really appropriate. Um, and using an English version of a French word to describe a Persian piece of armor, which probably has a Persian word for it, which we just don't know at the moment, but we'll find out eventually. Seems to be a little bit roundabout. Um,
Very nice ones.
this
Really
is
nice.
I recognize this painting because I think we've seen it before. You notice the man on the left shooting the arrow, which actually shows his thumb ring on, which is very rare in painting. His mail shirt maybe has pulled apart to show a plate and mail shirt underneath it.
Yes. Oh, the thumb ring. Yes, you see.
Yeah. Oh, and he's also got a little loop on his reins, so he doesn't have to completely drop his reins when he shoots.
Yeah.
One of the bridles I've got has got that fitting built into it, and this from like Turkestan.
Oh, he's also
Uh,
a thumb ring. here as well.
Yeah, yeah. See, this is unusual to see.
Very,
And the
very.
thumb ring is the right way round. Like the lip is on the inside of the thumb instead of sometimes they show them rotated because that when you were just using a sword, you just
How
turn it
much
around. So
detail. It is unbelievable.
this is very precise. You can see the strips of mail between the plates on their calf armor on the men.
Yeah.
So that there's rows of plates and then there's strips of mail and then rows of plates. You've got the knee cop part of the armor. Some of the detail on the armor is extremely carefully painted.
Oh, we talked about it. Remember that one? Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and here's Rustam giving somebody a hard time.
Yes.
You
Yes.
definitely don't want to get on the wrong side of him.
And Rostam,
Uh,
he does the Raksh is not wearing armor.
no, well, super horse. But
Yes.
then again, there's a man with a Safavid turban
Yes.
who's spearing somebody, and he's not wearing armor on his horse either.
Yeah, exactly here. That's true. And here,
So
okay, we
there's
talked
a
about this one. We talked already
mm,
about this one. Let's move on.
yeah,
This one, we talked about it. Beautiful. Beautiful.
it's beautifully
And this
shown.
one also, right? Remember that?
Yeah, as I say,
Yeah.
really common in Shah Tahmasp's
Yeah, these are
armor.
from Shah Tahmasp.
But paintings. Yeah, yeah,
These are from Shah.
and it. I'm sure it's depicting an actual type of armor. Now, that's a really good one of plate and mail.
The
That
next
next one
one
you've
is
got.
Timurid period. You see that? Please take a look at these two. Oh, we talked
Yeah,
about it in the beginning when we were showing the classification.
yeah,
This is
yeah.
also very beautiful, right? Both of them. Both.
Very, yeah, yeah. Excellent plate and mail, and a lot of detail in the chamfrons on the horses' faces.
Yes.
Um, there's a kind of whole design philosophy on those chamfrons. That's
And in
quite
the
interesting.
beginning, we also talked about this one. Do you remember, Beat? These.
Yeah, I like that one
Yeah.
because you see, you actually, I think there are a couple of the plate and mail horse armors that actually have the discs incorporated into the horse armor. There's a few in Italy and in France because the Italians had an opportunity to get them under the Venetian Republic, where there was a lot of trade with the Ottomans,
Okay.
and I'm sure. I mean, a lot of stuff went into the arsenals, but
Beat. Now
here's
from
another one of
another
those square
Shahnameh
panel ones.
manuscript. Please take a look.
Yeah,
Again, we see this style.
yeah.
Do you see? We
So
see again this
uh,
style.
yeah,
It is
you've got that
important,
style.
yeah, from different periods, different
Yeah,
manuals of
and you
Shahnameh.
see
Yeah,
plate and mail on the left,
yeah. Oh,
that
yeah,
weird
here.
style in the middle. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Plate and
Actually,
mail.
the two bottom horses who are on different sides,
Yeah.
because the guy with the orangey square section mail is being hit on the head by a mace by the person who's riding the mauve square section
Yeah,
armor. I'm wondering that they show a more clear knobby feature at the intersection of the plates,
yeah, they do.
and uh, in Tibetan armor there is a way of joining plates where they lace a hemisphere with a bar across the back,
Yeah,
and each plate has a hole in the corner and they overlap and then the lacing goes through them. It keeps the whole thing together, but it's still flexible. But
yeah.
it's usually done with much smaller plates. To do it this way, you would have to shape all the plates just right. So they may really be um, either large plates of leather or large plates of steel that have been painted in the case of the steel or dyed in the case of the leather. It's
Agreed.
you see a lot of armor detail on the riders as well. So there's his mail shirt underneath his caftan.
Indeed, look at the
Um,
plates and the lines on the plates. Some of them vertical, some of them horizontal. Do you see?
yeah, see that's puzzling. There's a lot of puzzling things in this. You can see the horseman's leg armor down there,
Yeah.
very clearly showing that the artist could paint plate and mail with no trouble at all. So this is
Excellent.
not this is the deliberate choice to paint these big square panels. The thing that I find amusing is it's quite common to see people tuck the ends of their caftan up into their belts to free their legs.
Yeah.
But he must have done it after he put his sword and his bow case and quiver on. So he's pulled his caftan up over his bow case and I don't know. It's the equivalent of walking around with your shirt hanging out the back of your pants, I think. And
It's interesting. And
it's
look at
very,
this one, please.
oh, this is a beautiful one.
Look at this one on
Oh, look
the
at that.
stem.
So this is plate and mail where the plates are decorated,
Yeah.
and it looks like they're alternated between gilded and plain.
Yes.
That shows you just how spectacular you could make that. And again, we have the square plate, but that isn't the same as the other one.
No.
First of all, the plates aren't actually square, they're rectangular,
Rectangular. Yeah.
and it may represent some kind of banded laminated armor that's and the distinction, like the sections between the plates, may actually be some kind of
Pete,
external
look.
lacing. Oh yeah, yeah, you can really see.
Mhm.
I think that maybe the thick bands are in fact embroidered cloth or leather that are
Yes.
covering joins,
Yes.
and they're there because that's how you finish off the panels, and then they all fit together. Here's
And
more plate and mail.
again, plate and mail. Just, for
Yeah,
Ziga, do you see how many representations of plate and mail you can see now?
yeah.
Yeah.
I to be honest, I haven't seen this many in one place in a long time.
Yeah, exactly. He
I mean,
said
I've
that
got
because Ziga said, why they're not represented in Persian man? And he said, oh, Ziga, I'm going to make a video with Bede. You'll see
yeah,
how many there are.
yeah, and they're accurately depicted. I mean, you look at this; they don't put the straps and the buckles in and everything because it's too fiddly, I think, for the artist. But when you look at it, the panels are arranged correctly.
Yes.
The special features like the little hole to put your foot through so you can, you know, dig your heels into your horse or whatever. It's all very accurate. Now here we've got two of those earlier armors,
Yeah, earlier ones. Yes.
and you can't really tell a lot from it. As I say, that could be just I could make an armor that looked like that, but without actually having surviving pieces, it would be very hard to say. I think some of Nichol's
Mhm.
person armor, the way it's put together, is similar to what that looks like.
Now we
Uh,
go to Jami al-Tawarikh and an illustrated Jami al-Tawarikh. Again, this is also a very
oh,
beautiful
that's
one.
interesting.
And
This
these
is
are
from
also,
Mughal India, isn't it?
yes, Mughal India.
Yeah,
And you can see that again.
yeah, yeah. That's clearly they're depicting plate and mail. We know that it was in India because it survives.
Yes.
Uh, that big ball-shaped mace,
Yeah.
I think it's the same as champion wrestlers in India get even now when they get to the high championships.
Okay, just for
Uh,
our viewers, Jamal Tawarikh is a book written in Persian. So, but the illustrations were Mughal India, just to make sure
yeah.
people know.
Well, you know, you can see things like the hilts on the swords and everything. You can see things that are clearly
Yes.
Indian. Oh, and there's a kata. So I mean, it's clearly Indian, but
Yeah, it's
look at how
clearly.
similar it is. And when
Show
you
me
look
where
at
the
the,
Qataris beat, please.
it's just above his bow case in
Yes.
his belt.
Oh, of course. Here you go. Yes, I saw, didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So um,
yeah.
what's to be said about the Mughals and even like the Rajputs and other people who were there? They were always looking for innovations,
Yes.
and
Oh, Pete, look. Look at the horse armor and look at the way he's armored. Look.
yeah, yeah. See, that's almost like Bektesh.
Yes, exactly.
And I think, judging by the pattern on his sleeve,
Mhm.
he's probably wearing it over a mail armor as well,
Yes, that's male armor,
which is
definitely.
traditionally how you would do it.
Yes.
Um,
It's unbelievable.
yeah, this is really detailed. Um, oh, that's nice.
Nice, huh?
Yeah. See, my guess is, bearing in mind the Timurid associations of the Mughals and what they might have had in their libraries, because Baba talks about taking one of the important things when you were fleeing to get away from Shaibani Khan and the Uzbeks was to make sure you got your library and took it with you.
Yes, yes,
See,
definitely.
I think what this is an interpretation of the early lamellar and laminated armor in the early Jamia Tavarik.
Okay, we now move to other Persian manuscripts from Iran. Their
Mhm.
Shahnameh. Again, we see
That's
this one.
nice. Yeah,
This
see
is a
that looks
fascinating one. I really, it's amazing,
yeah,
right? I don't know why.
and look at his kaftan,
Yeah,
clearly meant to be a brigandine.
yeah, clearly, clearly.
So if that other thing is a brigandine,
Yeah.
it's a completely different style.
And
This is
again,
what makes it really hard because people and horses different styles.
look at the horse armor here.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That looks like embossed and gilded leather strips, but I could be
Yes.
wrong.
So
I'm
we
almost
come to our
certain.
end of our journey today of horse armor. I have more, but then because there are repetitions, I didn't put. Otherwise, we would have been going
Oh
for
yeah. There's
10 hours.
so much information, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. Yes, yes.
See, if you read a book written in the last century about Oriental armor, they say, oh, they hardly ever used horse armor. But look, horse armor was so common that any painter sitting down to paint a battle would have to include some horse armor in it.
Yeah, yeah. It's so
And
intense.
we kind of I don't know. Russell Robinson was, halfway between what we're seeing and what they used to write. He was in his book on Oriental armor. He certainly described a lot of different horse armors. I almost got that out tonight, and then I thought, no, it's more important to look at what people were showing at the time,
Yes.
and then later on analyze horse armor as a thing. Because again, we're talking about horse armor serves different purposes. Some horse armor is to prevent harassment from
And
a distance. Some horse armor
before
is
I
for
went
close
to
combat.
Iran, many people didn't have access to these miniatures either, and they just wrote
Well,
that.
that's true too. I mean, if you knew about a large part of the Great Shah Mahar of Shah Tahmasp is in the Metropolitan Museum and a few bits scattered throughout Europe. Um, so if you knew about that and looked at it, but see, that's one manuscript.
Yeah,
And
they're
we're
all.
looking, how many different ones did we look at tonight
Yeah,
or this afternoon, this morning for you? I
yes.
mean, that's the thing is access to the Iranian museums and private collections um, that broadens the perspective considerably. I mean, it's not the fault of European scholars in the 1950s or 60s. They just didn't have access to it and didn't even know it existed.
They didn't know. No, they didn't
I
know.
mean, before you started translating those Persian archery manuscripts, I knew they existed because in the discussions in Saracen archery and other books, they mentioned that there were quite a few Persian archery manuscripts,
Yes,
but these were all by Arabicists who were interested in Arabic language
yes,
material. And whereas some of them could read Persian, I mean, McEwen could read Persian,
yes,
um, but there weren't a lot of them because language studies wasn't a lot of people writing about this were looking at it from a historical point of view. Some people are looking at it from an artistic point of view. Why did they paint that?
yes,
Very few of them were linguists reading the old texts,
yes.
saying, "Oh, this is exactly what they said you should do."
Thank you very much, Pete, for coming to our channel again and discussing this. Just for everyone here, this was just an intermediary. We are going to continue with Pete our discussions on Russian museums because we have still a
Yeah.
very long journey there.
Oh, that's so interesting.
And another
It,
one, I just went to another museum on Romans and legionaries, arms and armor, and we are going
Mhm.
also to talk about that because I think
I see the kind of like promos coming up in YouTube for these, and you just think there's so much stuff. I am surprised that you can find time to do all this, to be honest. There's just
it's,
so much
it's
work.
just, because
So,
I'm going soon to Paris, Pete, hopefully. And there we are going to also have more pictures of Musée d'Armée, but updated ones, and then
mhm.
discuss about them. Because, I mean, Musée d'Armée, we talked about them, they have over 500,000 artifacts. There is no
Oh,
way that you can analyze all those. Impossible, right? You know?
well, look, yeah. The where I I think it was the Powerhouse Museum in Sydney invited a friend of mine, and I tagged along to look at the Japanese arms and armor in their back room,
Yes.
which there was a lot, and we drew attention, and the curators, oh yeah, we could put that on display, and it turned up on display, some of it, including beautiful Utsubu quivers. And the thing is, museum staff have so many jobs to do, and there's so few of them, and they don't have a lot of money.
No, they don't.
So people like you going and taking pictures and say, come and have a look at this. This is going to increase the number of people going to the museum. They're going to realize that these are important things. Because if nobody asks to look at them,
No.
they won't know whether they're important or not. I
Yes.
think the classic example of this is in paleontology, where somebody will go to a museum collection. There's been something sitting in a drawer for 200 years. He takes it out, says, oh, let's try this on an electron microscope. And all of a sudden, they've discovered a new species.
Yeah, this gives.
I think it was an Australian paleontologist during the COVID lockdown. He and a colleague went through some old collections in a museum they had access to where they didn't have to travel too far and found, I think, the precursors of platypuses and echidnas in Australia from tiny little bones that were in a little drawer, had been collected 100 years before, and nobody had got round to classifying them. And because of the horrible effects of COVID, these two scientists were getting bored, and they said, go through this and see what it is. And they found a kind of like evolutionary tree showing, the development of echidnas and platypuses, which if you don't live in Australia, you've probably never seen it either, maybe in a zoo. But when you're wandering in the bush and a little spiny thing walks across the path in front of you, or you're watching a stream and you see this little brown furry animal zip through the water, you kind of, it's really interesting because these are very old species. I mean, they've obviously evolved, but it's old and interesting. And the same thing happens with what we're doing now.
Yes.
You'll photograph something in a collection that you understand what it is, but somebody else watching that who's researching something or something say, that's the missing piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
So it's fun for us,
yes,
but it's valuable for scholars.
Thank you very much, Mead. I wish you a nice
pleasure.
day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.